So when I sat down, I was thinking to myself, what's the best investment that I ever made? And I don't think it's going to be one that you actually think it's going to be. But before we get into that, my name's Robbo. If you are new around here, please make sure to smash the subscribe button and like the video. It really helps out the channel. I post all sorts of content on mindset, fitness, follow my entrepreneurial journey as well as my acting journey. So stick around and let's get into this one. So the most important investment that I ever made in my life was myself. I don't think you expected to hear that. Whenever you talk about investments, people start thinking about crypto, stocks and shares. That's what you kind of think about. You think, oh yeah, I invest into this or a house or a car, these kind of things. Which, don't get me wrong, they can be good investments. I have invested in crypto in my life, and I've also actively invested into stocks and shares in my life, but they're not the best investments I ever made, and I'll tell you why. So, most recent example of this was I invested into the British Action Academy, which is basically a film school for action and combat on screen. They teach you can basically learn from the best in the country at fighting on screen, and that's something that I've loved and I wanted to get into for quite a while. And so far I've spent over £1,000 on the 3 courses. I've got one more left to do, so probably even close to £1,500 I've spent on myself and invested that money. When I first done that, you think, oh yeah, it's quite a lot of money. Each course is around £450 with all the weapons and stuff you buy as well, and you kind of might be watching this and thinking, oh, it seems like a lot of money. Or a lot of people would look at that and think that seems like a lot of money, but I've thought of it in the long game, in the fact that if I make that investment into myself to learn better, to go after my dreams, then it's going to come back to me. I knew that if I invested in something like that, like a course, where I could actively see where it's going to come back, it would come back to me, and it has come back to me. A couple of days ago, I completed my first job for the British Action Academy. And the reason I got to have this job with them is that I got into their agency. And the reason I got into their agency was I passed 3 of their courses. Once you pass 2 of the 4, you get into their agency, and I passed 3 now. So I was in their agency and I was able to earn money back. So basically, from working 2 days on a film, getting to fight on screen in a film, to live my dreams, absolutely love what I get to do, I've earned basically the money back for one of the courses in 2 days. That was me taking a risk and investing into myself to see what would come back. And that's another thing that in life, a lot of people don't back themselves, and I've been guilty of this before, where I should have done things when I was younger, where I should have backed myself, and I didn't back myself. For example, I went to university and I studied history. I mean, why on earth I studied history, I don't know. Well, in fact, I do know. The reason I did it was because I was put off of the idea of studying drama, acting, or film, because I listened to other people. I listened to other people saying that actors, you're never going to get a job. It's a bit of a pointless degree, yada yada yada. So I thought, I like history. I'll do history because then I'll be able to get a safe job, risk-free job, be able to get something, have a degree, kind of thing. I went into university thinking that if I had the degree, then everything would be okay and I'd be able to get myself a job. And done the 3 years at university, got my degree, got a decent degree, and got a 9-to-5 job, which I hated. Shock. Because it wasn't what I wanted to do, and it wasn't aligned with who I was and that purpose. And I look back on that now and think, well, if I'd have just backed myself and thought of myself, not listened to the opinion of others, and done it that way, then I would have benefited from that in the long run. But it took me time to realise that. So going on from that point is that a lot of people think there's to be a risk to invest in a course, for example, that they know is going to better themselves, or anything else related to that, like with my example, the British Action Academy. But the thing is in life is it's actually risky to not take a risk and to put your life in someone else's hands doing something that you really don't want to do because you think it's the safe option. Whereas in reality, you could literally die tomorrow. I could die tomorrow. I could die this afternoon. We have no idea how long we're actually going to be on this planet. So we have to do what we want in that time and make the most of it, to be honest with you. And that's why you have to take risks, because life is risky. There's never ever going to be a day where it goes past we really think about things that isn't taking a risk. Every time you get into a car, you're taking a risk. Anything can happen when that happens. Anytime you walk down the stairs, you're taking a risk, technically, because you could slip, But these things can happen. And yeah, they seem extreme risks, but if you actually think about it, isn't investing into yourself like not even a risk? Because if it goes right, brilliant, it went right. You're going to get money back on your investment. You're going to learn. You're going to grow. You have to look at that. The fact that you are going to learn and that you're going to grow when you invest into yourself doing something that you love. So you have to think of it that way. Whereas if you don't do that and you play the safe option, where's the growth going to be? You're going to remain the same. Nothing's ever going to change. Another point as to why investing for myself was the best investment I ever made is that I believe in myself. I believe in myself always. I always have done. I've always had such a level of self-belief that some people mistake it for sort of, not me being crazy, but I'm sure there's some people like behind my back would maybe say that like, he's a bit mad or he's a bit out there or these kind of things. But if you ever look at anyone who's successful, they've always been like this. They've always believed in themselves to the point of not arrogance or of stupidity, but just to the point of like, you have to just believe it. You have to will it. You have to will it into existence. You have to will yourself through the universe and to get yourself out there to do it. I talk myself into it. I believe it so much because I hypnotize myself in a way into believing it. And as the old phrase goes, there's a reason they call it spelling, and that's because you're putting spells out there. Whenever you're writing, it's a spell you're casting, and whenever you're speaking, it's a spell as well. You put a spell on yourself. Your words have energy. Whatever you say has energy. It has energy, and it can make up different things. But there was a scientific study, or I know there was a scientific study where a scientist spoke certain types of words into water, and where he spoke more positive words into water, they filmed better icicles when they're frozen as opposed to bad words when they're frozen. And that literally was a scientific experiment. You can look it up right now. So when you think about investing in yourself, you have to trust the process. You have to go into it think about the investment that you're going to do. Is this a good investment in yourself? And don't mistake it for something like, right, I'm going to buy this watch because it's going to make me feel better, because that's not actually a good investment. From my examples, I invested in the British Action Academy because I saw a route of progression where I could go down to, and now that investment has paid back. It's paying itself back now, and I know that I'm going to get more jobs for it as I continue to go up the ranks. So you have to believe in that, and don't be afraid to fail, because even if you invest in a course or something and it doesn't go right and you didn't get out of it what you wanted, at least you then know, you're not then thinking in the back of your mind, oh, this could happen or that could happen. Then you've still learned and grown from that experience of what happened. Going back to what I said at the start when I talked about when you think about normal investment, people think about crypto or stocks and shares, and those still are great investments. 100%, there are many millionaires who have made money off of crypto and stocks, but those things aren't in your control. I can't control the stock market. No one can, unless you're sort of in the bankers. But I don't think the bankers can even control it. They don't know if it's going to go up, down, sideways. No one actually knows what's going to happen with it. So you can have educated, investment things when you think about stocks and shares and these kind of things. But if you actually invest into yourself, into a course to improve yourself, to go to the gym, it doesn't even have to be a course, to be honest. It can be going to the gym. It can be eating healthier. All these things are investments in yourself, getting yourself to a better version of yourself, because I believe that we're all put here to become the best versions of ourselves. And I've gone through my life where I've felt absolutely crap, right? And then I've got myself to a point of becoming the best version of myself, and then something's happened which put me back on the spiral when I've been the worst version again. Where I've gone and eat junk food and put on weight and all these kind of things. And I've gone through that cycle multiple times, to be honest with you, over the years, to a point now where I haven't gone through that cycle anymore, because I've finally got myself to a place in a headspace where I know what's good for me and what isn't good for me. So it's good to have that yin and yang and be able to compare the A and B samples, to what's actually going to happen in your life. So I'm not saying that those things aren't a good investment, because they can be certainly a good investment, but you're never ever going to fail if you're actually investing into yourself. If you're taking that bet on yourself, you're going to improve, and you're going to see that back for certain, as opposed to what might happen, what may not happen if you invest in stocks and shares and crypto and all these kind of things. Another big investment that I made in my life is starting my business. So as well as an actor, special action actor, should we say, and an actor, so I am an entrepreneur as well. I have a dog park business called Behind Closed Paws Adventure Park. I made a big investment into this, to be honest with you. I saved up a lot of money, and I learned how to do everything myself at my field. So I fenced it, learned how to do this off YouTube, spent hours learning how to fence, what materials to buy, what I'd need, spent money on tools, all these things. And I had absolutely no idea if it was going to work or not. Literally no idea. I'd go then putting this money in there thinking that it wasn't going to work. But I kind of took my philosophies that backed myself, and I wasn't afraid to fail. And if I didn't do this, I would never know if it was going to work or not. And I knew either way that I would learn from this experience, because it could have been a bad investment, because I've made bad investments. But I knew that this, if I just believed in it so much and done the work, then it could potentially be a good investment. And it took me 2 years of hard work behind the scenes. Had to sacrifice nights out, had to sacrifice many things in my life in order to do it, where I didn't see my friends as much. They probably kind of thought that, Robert's not about because of X, Y and Z, but really I was actually making that investment myself, and now it's paid off because I've been able to leave my job that I actually hated. You can see another video on my channel about me quitting my 9 to 5, and it literally took a lot of time for me to do that, because I was able to sacrifice those times in my life in order to improve and to go forward and where I wanted to be, and to take that bet on myself and to invest into myself. So it's been over 2 years working on my dog park, and then I got it to the point where I could launch it, and it's now been going for 1.5 years, so approaching probably like 3 years. Literally, I think I started in 2021, I think the tail end of 2021, doing everything, clearing the field and doing all this kind of stuff. And then we're now in 2024, and I've been open 1.5 years now. I'm now actually a limited company. I've took the route to be a limited company because I believe the company is doing well enough to do that, and we are doing well enough. I'm seeing money every day come in, and that was all testament to me, because I made that investment on myself and I've now made my investment back from what I invested, because I took that risk. And if it hadn't worked out, then at least I would have known. At least I could have looked at myself in the mirror and said, Robbo, you tried. But look all the things that you've learned now. Look all the skills that you've learned from making that investment into yourself. So there you have it, guys. That was just a short video on me explaining the best investment that you'll ever make. And it really is going to be into yourself. Don't be afraid to fail. Don't listen to other people. Believe in yourself. It's okay for you to get advice from people that you love, but at the end of the day, don't take advice from them if they're not the type of person that you want to be. So there's loved ones in my life, and I'll ask them for advice and their opinions, but at the end of the day, if they've not done what it is that I want to do, and they're not, in my mind, built the way that I am, then I won't take their advice. I'll listen to it, and of course, it's really important for you to listen to different people, to gather all the information, as much information as possible, and to then make your decision. But the best investment you will ever make is 100% into yourself. You will never regret these kind of decisions because of everything based on what I've said in this video, that either way, you're going to learn from the experience, you're going to grow, you're going to become a better individual, you can become stronger, fitter, smarter. Everything is going to come back if you just invest into yourself. Take the bet on yourself. Don't let others convince you that this is going to be risky, because it really isn't. And either way, it's going to pay off. So thanks so much, guys. I'll be bringing out loads more content around mindset, fitness, my entrepreneurial journey, as well as my acting journey and everything else in between. So if you did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time for another one. Peace.